Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful layouts from start to finish with easy to follow guides. Okay guys, we are going to have some fun today. We are starting Pumpkin Spice Week, so that is tons of fun. Okay, give me 1 second to try and get my banner down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you where my inspiration came from today. And then we're going to recreate it, but in a different kind of way. So give me 1 second here so I can see the comments. Okay, so my daughter is in a wedding this weekend, and it is a friend of hers that is getting married, and she's in the wedding party. So she wanted a special card to give to her. So this is partially inspired by a layout that you'll see coming up soon for something, a special event. But this was also inspired by their dresses and the fall decor for the wedding. So the wedding is presentation, so they were asking for money. So Hannah wanted something pretty that she could give her money to the bride in. So I created this fun card. It goes into a acetate, not plexiglass. They'd never get it out as plexiglass. An acetate box. And so you just open it like this, and then the card comes out. And I wanted it in a box because the card has lots of dimension on it. So then, so this is all pumpkin spice colors. This is one of the new thin cuts from the new annual idea book. And I used the new adhesive paper on it. That is very lovely to use. And then, so you open it up, and there's a little pocket here where she's storing the money that she's giving for presentation, and then it's stamped. So far she has to write obviously her message to the bride and groom, but so I thought we would use this as the inspiration for today's card, but we're gonna go in a different direction. And of course it turns super noisy as soon as I go live, but I'm going to put you down on my desk here. There we go. Okay, so like I said, we're kind of going with the same theme, but we're going in a different direction. So we are going to play with still pumpkin spice supplies because it's Pumpkin Spice Week. So, and we're going to do a slimline card, but we're going to use thin cuts, and we're going to make it into a birthday card. So, and it's not going to have the pocket for the money because this is just going to be like a birthday card. No money involved in this one. Okay, so I've created or cut basically a piece of, I think this is a charcoal, and it's just like the slim line size, and then I have folded it, and we're just going to score it right now. So there's no pocket, like I said, for the inside of this one. We're just going to make this one a regular card, okay? But so for the inside, I do have a piece of paprika and white daisy that we're going to add on the inside when we get that far. Okay, so then I really liked this fun piece of, good afternoon everyone, paper from Pumpkin Spice. So we're going to use this as our starting point, and I have a piece of paprika cardstock too. So this one is 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then this paprika is just 1/8 of an inch bigger than that. Okay, I'm just going to move the insides out until we get farther along here. Okay, so, and you can see I've got liquid pearls out, so we're going to have some fun with that. Okay. And yeah, like every dog in the block is barking. Mine didn't want to come inside because it's so beautiful outside. That's what took me a little bit longer to get on today. Nobody wanted to come inside and be with me. They wanted to stay outside in Suntown. So I have to say it is absolutely beautiful here for the first day of fall. So I kind of don't blame them. I sat outside and had my lunch in the sun. It was lovely. Okay, so there's our paprika base. And we're going to use this piece with the little pumpkins and the leaves because I thought it's kind of going to tie everything together here. The little squash, the leaves, the pumpkins, the gourds. Okay. The only downfall is that my fall allergies are super bad right now. Okay. So then the next thing we're going to take as inspiration is I'm going to put my sentiment in the middle. I'm going to do a cluster over here and a cluster over here. But I pulled out these, which you guys saw me use last week. So the new flower thin cuts, which I love. Okay, so I die cut a whole pile of flowers in the color palette. So the leaves here, I used Harbor and Shortbread. So, but for this card, because this background is a little bit different, I've grabbed Rosemary. I should have one more here. Rosemary and then Shortbread. So we're going to glue these things together. I actually think we're going to put down, you know what, I'm going to put down my all-purpose mat, and then if we need the Versamat later, we will add that. But I know the grid is super hard to see on sometimes. So, but I don't need any more glue on my desk. So we're just going to put this down. Okay, and then, so we're going to glue our branches together first. So I'm going to kind of build the clusters, and I think because my sentiment is going to be smaller on this one, we are going to add more flowers on this layout, this card, than I did on the original. So I'm going to do a layout on Friday for Pumpkin Spice Week. And I have to say, okay, so I was not too sure about pumpkin spice when we first got it. Oh shoot, I just put the glue on the wrong side. Oh no, it doesn't actually fit. I thought these went on here. They could go like that. Okay, well then we don't need to worry about this part. I'll save that for later. There's single leaves that I guess these are supposed to go with. Oh no, you can use it. So they're just not, it's not the same kind of look. So I'm not going to use these pieces. I'm going to save them. Okay, so that saves us one step here. Okay, so in the other card, I had a grouping down here, but those leaves are obviously smaller. So I actually might cut some of these off. We're just going to kind of lay them in here. So I have these pieces. Okay, so then I'm going to do for the big flower, I have a piece of paprika for the bottom. And I'm actually going to add 2 layers to this card. So this is shortbread, and then this is the light side of peach. So I'm just going to curl the leaves just a little bit. I don't know which way to do them just yet. But I'm just going to, so the nice thing about these floral thin cuts is they're super easy to line up because there's a distinctive part on each thin cut that makes it easy to find the right spot. So this lines up just like that. So I actually think I'm going to curl the flowers backwards. I'm going to add another layer and just slightly offset it just to get more color on here. So I'm just going to add liquid glass in the middles, like towards the middle. I want the ends of the petals to stand up. I don't want them directly attached to the bottom layer. So I might add a little bit of foam tape if I need it behind the petals to make them stand up. Okay. So I'm just looking at how they're going to line up. This is the way that goes down. So I'm just going to add this down. Like, you want me to zoom in more? Just a second now. Now that I moved, my flower jumped. Okay, so I have paprika, okay, so I have paprika on the bottom and then shortbread on top. Okay, and then I'm going to add my peach layer. And again, I'm just bending my flowers a little bit, but you don't have to. You saw the layout I did before where I smashed them flat so that there wasn't actually dimension on them. Okay. So now I'm going to add this layer on here. I'm just going to look and see which way the flower actually goes on here first. Okay, so it's like this. So I'm just going to slightly offset it so that there's 3 layers of my flower. Okay, same thing. I'm just going to add liquid glass just in the middle of the flower. But like I said, if you don't want them to stick up at all, you can totally add it flat onto the card base. Okay, so I'm just slightly offsetting them so that I pick up all the colors. I'm just going to let it dry for a second, so I'm just going to throw a block down onto that flower. Okay. So then I've grabbed the other flowers. So this one also I'm going to use a paprika bottom. I'm just curling my flowers a little bit. And while I'm doing that, I might just do my leaves a little bit. Okay, so my plan is to have this flower over here. So I have a peach top for this one, and this one I can completely just add in the middle my glue. Okay, and you can see same thing here, the leaves, so you can see right there, that's the distinctive petals, right? So they line up super easy to each other, right? It's not like you have to sit here and go, oh no, which way does it go? They're very clear where they fit. Okay. So I'm going to add some liquid glue there, liquid glass. Add these together. So now you get that super fun, a little bit of paprika poking through. Okay. And then I have this little center, and it is just a piece of papaya, which I love. Okay, and then I'm going to just add a little tiny bit of thin 3D foam tape. And then we're going to do the centers of these flowers differently. So you saw I did tons and tons of sequins on these ones, but I'm going to add liquid pearls at the end, just like this, on top of these ones. So I picked rose gold. Sorry, the light glare is kind of... I picked rose gold liquid pearls to do my little dots in the middle. But I'm going to do those right at the end because it will be wet, obviously. It's like more like paint than actually like stickles that are like glue. Okay, so that's going over there. I'm going to do this one too. So I have one of the 4 leaves, and now I'm going to do a 3 leaf. So I'm going to get all my flowers together, and then I'm going to start to glue things in. So here too, if I want, I can trim out some of the the leaves, so that, because they're all going to get tucked underneath. So I'm just, again, just rolling this just a little bit. Okay, and so to adhere this one, I'm going to add glue here, here, and here, right? Into 3 inside pieces. Okay, and I'm just going to also hold this for a second, just so that I know it's making contact, and then I can just play with them a little bit. Okay, because I know it's stuck down right there. Okay, so that one is going there. And then this is my favorite flower from that thin cuts. So I have 2 backs and 2 fronts. My backs, one's paprika and this is peach. I know it's hard to tell because it doesn't really pick it up on camera, but this one is then paprika and papaya. And I'm just going to glue these 2 flat down together because there's not a lot of room to make them more dimensional. And then I'm going to add the liquid pearls in the middle, like I said, at the end, so that it can dry. I didn't want to glue it all together before I started, because then you wouldn't be watching very much. So for this flower, I always look for this little swoop right here. It seems to be the easiest spot for me to find. So on my top layer, I can see it right there. Okay, and like I said, these ones I'm just gluing straight down to each other, and I might add a center into them once we get everything down and see how much space we have. Okay, so I'm going to glue this one together too, this is the papaya and peach. And I did show the other day, there's tons and tons of ways to decorate these flowers. So you are going to see me use them a lot. There's so many techniques you could use with them. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now I need to rough in the middle. So my sentiment on this one, right, is quite large, but I'm actually using something smaller on this one. So I grabbed this thin cut, which is one of the new slimline front card thin cuts. It's the circle window, and I used this little stitch circle because I wanted that stitch around the outside of my sentiment. So you can't really see it. There we go. Okay, so that's what the sentiment is going on. And then the regular basic circles then can create your layers. So I've just taken the regular circles and cut one that is harbor, and then one larger that is that copper ore that I used on this card, right? So this is how I'm thinking this is gonna go. Okay, so these two layers, and then that stitched circle, and you get just that little tiny bit of the harbor poking out. Okay, so that's kind of the size, and that's why I changed kind of the dimension of the flowers. That's why we have a bigger one over here instead of like the tiny ones. So here you can see these three, well, these two are the same size. This one's slightly smaller and this is big. And then I have a butterfly. So for the sentiment for the birthday, I went to this one, Happy Cake Day, which is new from the new annual idea book. And I'm going to use this sentiment here. May all your wishes come true. And then on the inside, I'm going to say happy birthday. So I grabbed the Harbor ink to match. And so we're going to stamp this stitch circle. So I'll grab a foam so I don't have to pull in my Versamat. So we have a butterfly. Here is the may all your wishes come true. So, and that fits just nicely on this stitched circle. I'll try not to shake the table too much. I love this new Harbor color. So, and that's why I thought I would add just that little tiny pop of Harbor behind it to kind of focus the, so you notice the sentiment. Okay, so while we've got the ink out, I'm going to just stamp the liner for the inside. And like I said, I just grabbed the one that says happy birthday. Okay, so that's for our inside when we're ready. So too, I wanted to pull in the butterfly, right? So I grabbed, this is still available. I checked this morning, and it's from last year's annual, and it's the Florals and Flutters, and it's my favorite butterfly. So I cut it with the shortbread and stamped it with Harbor because I wanted it dry. And then I did, sorry, I just had to move the ink. I'm just going to see if these are dry. I wanted to do this beforehand because this is a little bit harder to do after. But so I use that rose gold liquid pearls just in the wings of the butterfly to bring it together, because I think now when we add it to the middle of the flowers, it's going to tie the whole card together. I'm just going to see. Yeah. They're not crazy dry, but they're dry enough that I'll use this one. But I'll show you. So this is just stamped right on the shortbread with the harbor. And then I'm just going to take my stickles and I just dotted it down onto the wings of the butterfly. And then, like I said, it stays wet. This is the same thing we're going to do on the flowers. Okay. So when they dry, they will flatten out, and it's just kind of, it's super pretty in real life. Just kind of looks like a little gem on their wings. Okay, so I think we have all the stamping done. So now I'm just going to kind of dry fit everything into place, and then we'll start gluing it down. So like I said, I did 3 layers on this one. So this is my big focal point flower. Right, so it's going to go right here. So I just need to first kind of determine where my leaves are going to go. So I'm just going to use some glue dots. So I'm just adding glue dots to a few spots on the leaves. Okay. And don't forget, they're super sticky. So I'm thinking we're going to go about here. Okay, so I'm going to add now my copper ore background. And this is just stunning with the pumpkin spice. Okay. I think we're going to go. Okay, I'm not going to squash this down just yet because I'm going to add this set of leaves over here first. So I'm just adding my glue dots. Okay. So the other thing is too, you can manipulate these a little bit if you need them to kind of go in different directions. Okay, so I'm gonna now add this in with some thin 3D foam tape. Actually, it's thick 3D foam tape. Okay. So that's the harbor level. And then I'll add my circle with the sentiment on. And I did use French vanilla for the sentiment, just because I thought it's just a little bit warmer and not quite so stark white. But I did use white for the inside. Okay, so I'm going to add this here because don't forget we have our butterfly. That's going to go just up here, and I'm going to tuck it under. Okay, and I'm going to put some 3D foam tape on this butterfly. And I'm just going to add it just under the body portion of the butterfly. So just right here in the middle. And kind of on an angle like that. And then I can tuck it in like that. So there you go. So then we're going to add the stickles on here after, or the liquid pearl. Sorry, not stickles. Okay. Now I'm going to add my glue dots here. Sorry, zoomed in like this is super hard to actually see what I'm doing. See, that's why exactly I did my butterfly before. See, I knew I would put something wet in it. So the liquid pearls does take quite a while to dry. So just be careful. I love, and I really, really like the this rose gold with the pumpkin spice products. It kind of just warms everything up. So I'm just gonna see here. I don't want my leaves to go too far off the card, but I want you to be able to see them from underneath the flower. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I just put 2 glue dots right here. I'm going to add my flower in now. If I need to move these leaves so that you can see them a little bit more, I'm okay with this being crushed underneath because it's going to be covered up by a flower, right? So if I have to, I'll add a glue dot underneath this leaf so that you can see more of the leaves. Because right now, depending on how I add this, you're going to see more or less of the leaves. But we're going to add this down, and I'm going to add a center. Sorry, oh, there it is. My adhesive. Oh, and look at that, right at the end, guys. Always right at the end. I do have a few favorite liquid pearls. Rose gold is one. The bisque is another one that I really like. Okay, so now I have this flower and these 2. Okay, I'm going to add this center to that flower with 3D foam tape. I wish that we would bring back the rose gold sequins. I loved them. Okay, I think I'm going to move this out of the way because it is messy looking. So like I said, every time I ran it through, I just ran all of those die cuts through, and I'll just keep these either in with my pumpkin spice or in with my flowers. It kind of just depends. I have a feeling that that container of flowers is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger if I'm not careful. Okay. So now it's just a matter of gluing down my layers here. And then I will add my liquid pearls. And then I'll set it aside somewhere safe to dry. And I'm sure you guys are super happy I did not add embellishing thread here. I totally thought about it. I also kind of wish we would get like a copper colored embellishing thread. But we got the annual, so I don't think I'm getting my wish. You know what? I think there we go. I know not everybody likes that embellishing thread, but I sure do. I think that sometimes it just adds such a nice little touch. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of what we're going to do here. And now I'm just going to add some liquid pearls. Move some stuff out of my way. So I stop putting. Okay. So I'm going to do this one first. And I go straight down and touch it and then lift it up. And I don't do it crazy fast. And I try to just leave just the tiniest little bit of space between my dots. So just like that. Okay, and now I'll do this one over here. And I try and start in the middle and then kind of go around. So just one in the middle. Because it's directly, because I'm directly down, it's kind of hard to see because the camera's right over top. But I'll try and lift it up each time. So I'm just kind of trying to put them in between. You aren't going to get the flowers. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think everybody knows I liked the flowers from the last annual. So It was super hard for me to decide to get these ones because I really liked the other ones. But I've had so much fun with these ones. And really, so far, so the layout that I did was all like, I was looking to see how close behind me it was, but I think it's put away. Was all like super bright colors, and then this is totally like the fall palette, and then you could totally do them in like pastel colors too. So I'm probably having way too much fun with them. It's part of my problem. Okay, I actually don't know if I glued this flower down. So I'm going to add something behind there so that it does not come up. I think maybe it was when I ran out of tape runner. Okay, and then the other thing. Oh, I do like them. Maybe I'll have to get that. I just realized I'm not going to be able to add the liner. I'll glue them together and then add that to the inside because I'm not gluing it to this while this is still wet because I made enough. I ruined my other butterfly. Okay, I'm trying to find some thin 3D foam tape. Here. So I'm just going to add a little bit behind this flower because before I put some of the pearls on it because it is not stuck down. Okay, so I will add this liner there after, but let's add some more pearls. So I actually played with a few different things before I decided this is what we were going to do. But, so like I said, I just played around with it, and you could even do it in the centers like naked without another layer on top. I just want copper right now because it would go perfectly with pumpkin spice. Once we're in the middle of the winter and we're back to Christmas. Okay, so you saw I did one in the middle, and then now I'm kind of moving around and placing them in between. Just like that. You could also like add dots to your sentiment if you wanted to highlight it more. And I'm trying to decide about these last two flowers, but I don't think I'm actually going to do them. You could also, let me just grab, oh, I could do it on here. If you wanted to highlight the middle here, I was going to show you, but I don't think I... So you could do just a little bit of highlighting in the middle of these streaks too. So it's hard because they're kind of similar colors. But if I wanted to just add a little bit of that paint along some of those, almost like a kind of like a doodling line, I can just really, really lightly tap it down. You'll be able to see it better in the stills than you can right now. Plus it will dry flat and not, it almost kind of looks like puffy paint right now. And I'm trying to do it without getting my hand back in. So it just kind of highlights some of the middles. It'll be fine once it's dry. It's just a little bit puffy at the moment. So, but like I said, you'll be able to see it better in the still photos after, once they're dry. So now I'll just glue my liner. I literally almost put the glue on, the adhesive on the part that I already stamped. So, right, same thing, but I'm not going to risk gluing this down right this second, but this will go on the inside. So that is what I have for you guys today. And like I said, I will be back on a Friday with the layout. But so this is where the inspiration started. This card here with the pocket on the inside. And it's going in this pretty box. She's coming to pick it up soon. So I had to actually do something with it before she came to get it. And then this is how I used the thin cuts to recreate it, and look, like they look completely different. Okay, we're going to pretend this is on the inside. But they look completely different, but they play up kind of the same kind of elements, right? So they're both pumpkin spice. They do have a different number of flowers just because this section is different sizes, but they have the flowers, the leaves, the butterfly, just they're different, right? So that's what I've got for you guys today, and we'll see you later this week with more pumpkin spice. Bye guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.